So Rodgers ends up going out with his Jets career. I'm going to probably say it right now. Aaron Rodgers will not be a New York Jet after this. Probably his last game, but he finishes it in classic Aaron Rodgers fashion in absolute dominant performance, 4 touchdown passes. Frankie, that's the question a lot of fans are going to be asking right now is, do you bring number 8 back next year? I got to be honest with you. None of this improves my opinion on him. I'm over the Rodgers era, and I think the Jets need to move on from him.
Yeah. I mean, I was just joking when I said that. It's been over. We've had this discussion now. How many weeks? We've been talking about this on post games from October when we were literally out of the playoff hump before even Halloween. So let's put this all into perspective. Aaron Rodgers did not do the job he was supposed to do this year. You can blame the coaching, you can blame the players, you can blame anybody, but the biggest onus of this team failing this year comes on number 8, the leader, the person who came here to give us Super Bowl aspirations. The Jets finished the year 5-12. It's not good enough. It just isn't. Today, Miami was lifeless. I know we're going to get into that. They were lifeless. They didn't even look like they even wanted to win this game today, or they were even trying. Aaron Rodgers lit them up in the second half.
Yeah.
Did what we know Aaron Rodgers can do. Now finishing his career. His career is done with the Jets, all right? Let's just say that.
So that's your official take. You think Aaron Rodgers' career with the New York Jets is done?
It's done. He will not be here next year. But he could be somewhere else. So that's something that I think today, which I've been telling you, and we've been speaking with Kaz about this on Gangs All Here, and we've been discussing this throughout the last couple months. Can you trade Aaron? I think today that becomes a little bit more likely. I think a team like Pittsburgh, you brought up San Francisco, we've been throwing teams in left and right about who could potentially need Aaron for a year or two. The guy's still got something in the tank.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Jets is we have a new GM, a new head coach, a new OC, a new DC, and we're going to have a new quarterback too. So the timelines don't work out. We tried this sprint with Aaron. It didn't happen, and it's over. So good for him for getting 500. I to be honest, dude, like I don't care. I'm not a Packers fan. I'm not even really an Aaron Rodgers fan. I never was. I respect what he's done for the game. I think he's a phenomenal player, but I'm not like, smiling or texting someone, "Oh, congratulations. I love what Rodgers did." I could care less.
Well, do you agree with VJ here? Now, VJ, we followed on social media. He's been a huge proponent of bringing Aaron Rodgers back all season long, no matter how much the dysfunction was, the Garrett Wilson stuff, Rodgers struggling through injuries, playing through injuries, getting healthy, dominating versus the Dolphins, dominating versus the Jaguars, looking like crap against the Rams, looking like crap again last week, but he still has it in him to do these type of performances, Frankie, where he has 4 touchdowns and he makes the Miami Dolphins defense look silly. And when you have a plethora of weapons, right? The situation has always been, I think, right for Aaron Rodgers. Like, I think that's something I hope people understand when they look back at this Rodgers Jets era, if it truly is over, like I think it is, and like you think it is. The Jets did everything in their power to surround him with everything he wanted and more.
Yep.
And then some. I think the Jets bent over backwards more than any other franchise in the NFL could have, even more than what the Packers were willing to do in years prior. They brought a lot of his players in that he was friendly with and that he played with the Packers. He brought in Billy Turner, brought in Devontae Adams eventually, brought in Alan Lazard to a big contract. They originally brought in Randall Cobb. They have done everything to surround him with. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett, a guy who was fired after 1 year, joins the list now with Gerard Mayo as 1-year wonders as head coach. Got fired, couldn't find a job, but he somehow lands a Jets OC job because the Jets were going all in for Aaron Rodgers. 2023 was really the year that was missed out because that was the year this Jets team was loaded, ready to go, and unfortunately, we only got robbed with 4 plays, and he tears his Achilles. And now we go into 2024, he got hurt. He just didn't look good, and they could not close out these games early. The owner clearly was done with this coaching staff and the head coach and was sick of the GM and forced him to make a lot of moves that he didn't want to make. But he still went all in. Like everything they did went all in this offseason. Hassan Reddick trade. You know, like everything they did was all built. I mean, they signed Tyron Smith, they signed Mike Williams. They brought in every single piece they could. They drafted 2 running backs in the draft this year. They had Brees Hall, they had Garrett Wilson, they have
Drafted a
Tyler
wide receiver
Conklin.
too.
They drafted a wide receiver. They drafted another offensive tackle as depth who actually looked good. They did everything to surround Aaron Rodgers with a solid offensive line, good weapons on the outside to great weapons on the outside, and a steady stable of running backs. And they brought in his really maligned offensive coordinator, this guy who probably shouldn't be in the NFL, doesn't belong to be on the sideline. He spent the last, I don't know how many weeks, Frankie, 14 weeks of the season sitting up in the booth with a headset not even plugged in. So they did everything to surround Aaron and give him success. 2023 was a miss with the injury, and 2024 turned out to be an absolute utter disaster. It's the most disappointing season we've ever seen as Jets fans, and unfortunately, it's played out that way. But I just want to make sure that we put this straight, Frank. The Jets did everything to surround Aaron Rodgers with the best weapons and offensive line and offensive staff to help him succeed in this year and win some football games. He came up short. He did.